All right, so welcome to a Yin meets Restorative meets Yoga Nidra workshop. So I'm talking also for the people who are going to be watching this as a recording. So namaste to you all. David Ito here, David Ito Healing. So the idea behind me putting together this workshop, and many of you have already come to previous workshops, is we're living through challenging times. You know, now it's 2021, there's new hopes up, there's like new signs, green leaves, like all good stuff. But, this is still very challenging, and we're all still socially distanced in the planet, the economic crisis, the unemployment. I mean, there's just a lot going on, and this creates a lot of uncertainty for us in our lives, but also in our bodies. Our bodies are just kind of like soaking up all this uncertainty. And my background is in gymnastics and power yoga, Ashtanga, and I'm the first one who, since last year, I've really softened up my own yoga practice because my body needs more healing from inside. So as I'm working towards my advanced yoga teacher certification, my 500 hour, I've been selecting more of the gentler yoga classes. Hello, Bob. So good to see you. I want to join you in that beach. And hello, Ian. So nice to meet you and see you again. So, as I was saying, the purpose of this workshop is to... Hello, Valerie. Nice to have you with us. So Yin Yoga, for those of you who have never done Yin Yoga, if you have never done Yin Yoga, can you raise a hand who've never done it or practiced it? All right. And if you've never done Restorative Yoga, just give me hands up. Today's your first day. Restorative Yoga and Yoga Nidra. If you haven't even tried it or heard of Yoga Nidra, hands up. All right, cool. So then I'm really excited because I'm bringing a lot of new stuff, and I was doing some research, and here in the States, it seems like I'm the only one putting together this combination of the three most healing yoga practices: Yin, Restorative, and Yoga Nidra. So I'm really thrilled. In Europe, a few people have already taken the lead and they're doing it, but I think I'm the first one in the States to do this kind of combination of yoga practices. So what is Yin Yoga? Yin Yoga, I'm sure that many of you who already have a yoga practice, you have tried this because this is an integral part of our general hatha and vinyasa. It's a lot of the stretching. When you do many of these stretching poses in yoga class, this is part of Yin. So basically Yin is a regular class without all the effortful poses, all the warriors and the chairs and the vinyasas and the core stuff. So Yin Yoga aims to help us get deeper into the stretches to remove that tension, the blockages in our body, just with our body weight and with minimal effort. And typically Yin Yoga is practiced holding it for a little longer, sometimes several minutes. Then Restorative Yoga is an even more gentle version of that. And basically, Restorative uses props, like we're going to be using these bolsters, and helping us to slowly get into our bodies. So it's an even more gentle form of yoga. And it's also very meditative and very relaxing. And then finally, Yoga Nidra is something that has been around for thousands of years in India, but just like here in the West, yoga studios have only started to pick it up in the last, not even decade, just a few years ago. So Yoga Nidra means sleep in Sanskrit. And basically, it is a type of meditation, a part of the yoga practice that helps us to go into a hypnagogic state. That means it's just in the borderline between being asleep and being awake. And yogic theory says that when we are just there, we're able to release a lot of tension from the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. allowing a lot of stuff to go out. A lot of these undigested emotions, a lot of the stuff that we're not really aware about, but we are kind of retaining in the tension in our bodies. So it's deeply healing, and some people say that 1 hour of yoga nidra is equivalent to 5 hours of sleep. Like, that's how good it is for us. So today we're going to be doing all of this stuff together. So let me just say hello to some of the people who have just trickled in. So there is Ken. Hello, Ken. And let me see who else just got in here. I believe there's somebody else. All right, I think that's it and Eric. Hey, Eric, buddy, good to see you. All right, so I'm gonna mute everybody for the time being so that we don't hear like any extra noises, and we're gonna get started. So for those of you who have just trickled in, Ken and Eric, we're gonna need a blanket and 3 bolsters or firm cushions. All right, and Ken, so happy that you made it to class today. If you can tilt your camera down a little bit so that I can see you, that'd be wonderful. So let's meet in a cross-legged position. I'm moving backwards. All right, cool. So that way you can all see me. We're sitting on our blanket. If you need extra support, you can even sit on your bolster. We're gonna just start doing some movement and breath. But first of all, we're going to start tuning in. So making sure that you're comfortable. And if you already feel from these few minutes sitting down that it's been uncomfortable on your hips or your lower back, sit on a bolster, sit on those cushions, 1, 2, 3 cushions. We're going to bring our hands onto our thighs, starting to lengthen the spine. And the best cue to align the spine is ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, and noticing your lower back still having that bit of a inward curve. That's when you know that you're sitting up straight. The spine is happy because that's the natural shape of the spine. We're going to start relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Relaxing the elbows away from the shoulders. Close your eyes. Without changing anything, let's just start body scanning. Noticing your breath, the quality of your breath. Noticing your abdomen, space between your shoulder blades, the neck and the shoulders. As we continue to lengthen the crown of the head, sometimes this means a micro tuck in of the chin. You will notice how this helps you to lengthen the crown of the head towards the sky. At the same time, we're grounding our hips, our sits bones onto the surface of whatever you're sitting on. Just notice when you just pause in this upright seat with a long and spacious spine, you already feel more relaxed, more in tune. Notice if you're tightening your lips or your jaw, so just relax or even part your lips. Relax your nose, the sinus, the eyeballs, eye sockets. Relax the forehead, the midbrain. Relax your fingers, noticing the sensation of your hands on your thighs or your knees. Oh, notice if you're breathing more into the upper body or into the belly or equally. We're not changing anything. We're just reading the body. So important to read the body before our practice. Notice if you're breathing more towards the front of the body or equally towards the sides and the back. Notice how by bringing your mindfulness into these body parts, you're able to relax them, but we're still able to lengthen the spine, so there's no collapsing. There's two things going on here, the lengthening of the spine and relaxing everything else. Just start breathing in a little bit deeper. This is called the 3-part breath, part of pranayama in yoga. Let's inhale through the nose into the chest, then the rib cage, then the belly, sides, and lower back, top of the breath. Open your mouth and side out. Really side out. Hear yourselves letting go of stuff. We're going to continue like this. Few more rounds. Inhale through the nose, chest, rib cage, belly expands, top of the breath. Open the mouth inside out. And continue like this on your own. Few more breaths. Noticing how you're able to release stuff, tension. A few more times like that. And I'm going to bring up one of the central theories behind my workshop today. That is the connection of our state and mood with our nervous system. So without getting too deep, continue breathing and exhaling deeply. Without getting too deep on the topic, let's just say that our nervous system has two sides, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. And the part of the nervous system that helps us to relax, release, recover, digest, heal is the parasympathetic nervous system. When we breathe deeply, on the exhales, it's that contraction of the diaphragm that also helps us to ignite the parasympathetic nervous system. So it's very important when you do your own breathwork practice to really focus on the exhales and make your exhales as long or longer than your inhales. Few more breaths like this, just tuning inwards. And letting it all out. All right, we're adding on. Now we're going to do 3-part exhale as well. So we're going to inhale through the nose, chest, rib cage, belly expands, top of the breath. Exhale through the nose, belly, rib cage, and chest. Notice if you're breathing just to the front and try to breathe towards the back of the body as well. Inhale through the nose. 3-part inhale. Feel the shoulder blades expand on the top of the inhale. Exhale through the nose, belly, rib cage, and chest. A few more times like this on your own. Tuning inwards. Noticing the subtle sensations in your body. Notice how you're able to calm your mind, how you're able to calm your nervous system. As we said, the parasympathetic nervous system is what helps us to heal from the stress and the anxiety of the times. There is a nerve that runs along the spine from tailbone to the top of the neck. It's called the vagus nerve. When we deeply breathe, especially on the top of the inhale, we are gently compressing that nerve, the vagus nerve. That nerve is also connected to the parasympathetic nervous system. And that's why these deep inhales are so yummy. They help us to really relax the mind and the nervous system, our mood. All right, we're going to add on. So look at the screen for a moment. We're going to bring one hand onto the side of the ribcage, just underneath the armpit, then crisscross the other arm just underneath the armpit. So now our forearms are crisscrossed. So just look at me at the screen. Find something that's comfortable for you. Relax the shoulders. This gentle pressure on this part of the rib cage also helps to calm the nerves and balance right and left part of the nervous system. So let's keep going back into the 3-part inhale and 3-part exhale with the eyes closed. Deep inhale, feel the ribcage expand. Exhale through the nose, relaxing the shoulders and the elbows away from the ears. 2 more times like that on your own. One more time. Alright, go ahead and undo the crossing and bring the top arm and swing it now, this time underneath the other arm, bringing it under the same armpit, but just the other way. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, keep lengthening the spine towards the sky. And breathe deeply, slowly, and completely. One more breath like this. All right, we're going to undo the crossing of the legs. We're going to do one more breath exercise. For those of you who have never done yoga, this is, just a way for us to balance the right and left hemisphere of the brain, our nervous system, our body. So we're going to do a simplified version of this exercise. So basically, it's called Nadi Shodana. It's alternate nostril breathing. So let's all bring our left finger up. We're going to cover the left nostril, just the soft parts, just where the bone meets the cartilage. And we're just going to inhale and exhale, 3-part inhale and exhale through the right side. So inhale, lengthen the spine, shoulders relaxed. Exhale through the same side. Count of 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Top of the breath, feel the belly expand. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Continue like this 3 more times. If it becomes challenging just to breathe in one nose, then you can just open up the other nostril just a tiny bit. Let me just say that this is an all levels class and we all have different bodies, so if something doesn't feel right at any time, please soften up, back up, or don't do it at all and just sit it out or do something else. I'll be providing modifications. All right, release the finger, release the hand on the exhale. We're going to lift up the right finger and cover up the right nostril. Inhaling deeply through the left nostril. Count to 3. Exhale, count of 3. 2 more times. Release the finger. Bring your hands on the thighs and just breathe normally. And notice what just happened. Notice your breath. Notice something have shifted. This shift is subtle. All of a sudden, maybe you can breathe a little bit lighter. You feel a little bit lighter. All right, well, let's start moving the shoulders. We're going to warm up the neck and shoulders. So we're going to inhale on the count of 3. Shoulders come all the way up. On the exhale, roll the shoulders back, shoulder blades meet. Exhale, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, shoulders round forward, then up towards the ears, top of the breath. Exhale, shoulders roll back and then down. Continue like this. Close your eyes. And just visualize the circles that you're drawing with the tops of your shoulders, studying the range. Make sure your spine is long and spacious. We're not collapsing. We're not moving the spine forward. It's just the shoulder girdle, the shoulder joints moving very slowly. If you're anything like me, you're hearing some clicks and some pops. In my case, it's genetics. It comes from my mother's side. Our joints just click and pop. This is bringing lubrication, synovial fluids into your joints, rejuvenating, bringing more amplitude, more range into that soft tissue, the ligaments, the muscles, the fascia. One more circle. Keep breathing. 3-part inhale, 3-part exhale. Next time you lower your shoulders, we're gonna switch directions. So inhale, shoulders come back, feel the chest open. Inhale the shoulders all the way up, top of the breath. Exhale the shoulders forward and down, bottom of the breath. Continue like this few more times. Deep inhales, complete exhales. Welcome to the people who have joined us recently. We're doing some shoulder circles. We're sitting on a bolster or a cushion. We're going to be using a blanket and 3 bolsters or firm cushions today. One more circle in this direction, studying the circles. Practicing svadhyaya. It's one of the yogic practices of self-study. All right, so relax the shoulders. We're going to go a little bit deeper into the shoulders. So we're going to inhale the arms forward. So we're just pointing the arms forward like a robot. We're going to crisscross the arms and we're just going to hug ourselves. Grab the shoulders as much as you can. If you can just like bring your fingers a little bit closer to the tip of your shoulder blades, if not just the top of the shoulders. Just relax now the shoulders down and notice what happens as you lower the shoulders away from the ears. You feel a deeper stretch. Lengthen the spine, crown of the head, lifting up, micro tucking of the chin. You're going to breathe deeply. Exhale completely. We're going to add on, we're going to start doing some cats and cows with our arms like this. So just grab anything you can. If you can't reach all the way up, just grab the triceps or the biceps. We're going to inhale, start opening up the chest up, bring your chin up, top of the breath. Feel the stretch, the throat, the chest. On the exhale, we're going to start rounding the spine. Bring the shoulders forward, chin to chest, tailbone up, navel in. Start to activate the core. Inhale, lift up, open up the chest. Feel the shoulders stretch. Exhale, round forward, chin to chest, navel in, tailbone lifts. 2 more times like that, very slowly studying your spine. Exhale, rounding forward. Here, we really want to bring our awareness to the length of the spine, tailbone to crown of the head, every vertebra and disc. Exhale, round forward, any amount. Inhale, come back to neutral. We're going to undo the crossing of the legs, and this time we're going to cross the other way, the other arm on top. So Find that place that you can grab onto, lower the shoulders away from the ears so you can deepen that shoulder stretch. Once we have that, we start inhaling, expand the belly, lift the gaze, broaden the chest, tailbone lifts backwards. Exhale, start to round forward any amount. Inhale, continue like that 3 more times, really studying your spine. Exhale, rounding forward, navel to spine, lower abdomen engaged. 1 more like that. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round forward. Inhale, come into neutral position and relax and maybe shake it off just a few times. Maybe next side to side, just shake it off a few times. So these are all gentle stretches, as you can see. You can do these on your own. You can even do them on a chair at your workstation. All right, so we're going to come off the bolster if you were on a bolster. And we're going to grab the towel. So if you've been to my workshops before, you know that I love the towel. It's my best friend because we can turn it into so many things. So basically, I folded my towel or blanket into 4. And the idea is that we're going to roll it into a kind of a roll or a tube. So start rolling it inwards so that we make a tube. So those of you who have never done this with me before, it's key to know how thick this tube is, because if it's too thick, it's going to be too intense for your back. So just try it for now. I'm going to get closer to the camera so you can see more or less how big this tube is. Just roll it in. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to bring this 2/3 up the mat. All right, so once we have that, we're going to lie on top of it. So just slowly, we're going to bring our beneath the shoulder blades just on top that rolled up towel. And then we're going to relax the back of the head on the mat. So here it's very important, if you feel that you cannot bring the back of the head and it's just the crown of the head on the mat, then your towel is too thick. So you decide and you find that place that is just underneath the shoulder blades. So your shoulder blades are free. If you lift your arms up and down, your shoulder blades are free. So this is where the bra line would be. This is just where the muscles of the shoulder blades lie. All right, so let's all start with our knees bent, feet wide. Let the knees just kind of plop towards each other and extend our arms towards the sides, palms facing up, as we slowly allow this prop to gently press into those muscles around the shoulder blades. Let's start inhaling once again, 3-part inhale, 3-part exhale. Maybe feels good to exhale through the mouth, yogi's choice. Can you relax your shoulders a little bit more as they fall a little bit closer towards the ground? So this is a chest opener, heart opener, and gentle back bend. Part the lips, relax the face. Just let gravity pull you down. So this is part of restorative yoga. As I was saying, we're using body weight and gravity with props to help us come down onto these stretches gently, safely, mindfully. A few more breaths here. And let me just say one more thing about the parasympathetic nervous system. In the study of, chiropractor, the practice of, a lot of these bodywork studies show that the nerve endings around the shoulder blades, when they are gently pressed, they also help us to improve or ignite the parasympathetic nervous system, the nervous system that helps us to recover, release, and relax. So no wonder this feels so good. It's not only undoing all those hours of texting, computer work, when we're rounding our shoulders forward, the middle and upper backs get tighter and tighter. This is like medicine to undo this. Plus, this acupressure element on the muscles around the shoulder blades also helps us to recover and release and relax, helping us to relax the mind, relax the body. We're going to start windshield wiping, so we're going to bring the knees towards one side. It doesn't matter which side it is on the exhale, and just study your body. Make sure you're not going too deep. I like to use 70-80% as a reference. If it's more than 80% intense, you might be getting into danger zones, so be easy on yourself. On the next inhale, lift the knees up. On the next exhale, bring the knees down to the other side, massaging the waist, the rib cage, and also gentle lumbar spine twist and hip rotation. Continue like that with the breath. On the inhale, lift the knees up. On the exhale, let the knees fall towards the other side. Relax the jaw, relax the shoulders. Continue like that on your own, windshield wiping. Just kind of enjoying this self-massage element that is also relaxing your nervous system. It's starting to twist your spine. Spinal twists are also very calming for the mind. And as we start to warm up the hips, the hip joints, the femur, bringing more fluid, synovial fluid into the hip joints, stretching those hips that many of us have, tight hips. Just once you have the mechanics down, just enjoy this. Allow yourself to not think about it anymore and just feel. Let today's practice be about feeling and letting go of tightness. Few more times like this on each direction, noticing the delicious feeling of this massage in the tightest of parts. If you think about it, every time you grab your smartphone, you're rounding your chin down, shoulders come down with it, and the part of the back that is sustaining you so that you don't collapse is exactly the part that you are massaging now. So in other words, I could do this all day long. All right, we're also bringing back a little bit of that S-shape curve on our spines that we're losing because of our electronics. Our spines are going from being an S-shaped to a C-shaped. All right, next time you bring your knees up, we're going to bring our heels closer to our hips, going into just a very short bridge. As you start to lift the hips up, knees over ankles, and back of the neck is long and spacious. Relax the shoulders, keep lifting the hips up. We're just building a tiny bit of heat so that we don't get too cold. Theory behind yin yoga is that our bodies stretch better when they're a little bit warm. So if we warm up when we're cold, we can actually create a little more injury. So keep lifting those hips. I'm coming to the screen, checking up on you guys. Keep lifting up those hips. Just 2 more breaths. Breathing into those bellies. Relax the neck. Relax the jaw. And before you bring your hips down, you're going to grab the towel and you're going to move it down a few inches just above the waistline, above the belt line. So slowly start to bring your hips back on the floor. And now notice if this is too intense for your lower back. As you try to bring your hips on the floor, this is pressing onto your lumbar spine. If you will have lumbar spine issues, you might want to flatten out the blanket, just, patting down on it. You find the height that works for you. And once again, we're going to bring our feet wide, knees in towards each other. Just breathe, getting used to this new prop underneath our spine. These exercises, actually, I did not learn them in yoga. I learned them in physical therapy. For almost a year, I was bedridden with spinal disease and had to go to, physical therapy. And a lot of the stuff that I learned there, I'm applying now into my own classes. Keep breathing into your belly, noticing the sensations of the navel rising and falling. Relax the jaw, relax the shoulders. One more breath here, just letting our body weight just melt onto the floor. Again, this is medicine for our spines that have gone from an S-shaped into a C-shaped. If this becomes too intense or you feel pins and needles, please remove the prop. Alright, let's start windshield wiping very slowly because this can be intense. Bring both knees to one side. Notice how different it feels now that we have the prop closer to the lumbar spine. Inhale the knees up very slowly. Exhale the knees down to the other side. Notice the sensations. Notice maybe the range of the windshield wiping is not as big as when we had the prop under our shoulder blades. So just go easy on yourself. Keep breathing. Once you have the mechanics down, you've understood how this works, just stop thinking about it. Just feel it. You might notice that your range after a few times becomes bigger. You're able to go a little bit deeper in the internal and external rotation of the hip joints. A few more times, massaging the lower back. Twisting the spine, hip flexibility, hip stretches, breath led, body follows. One more time in this direction. All right, bring the knees up. We're going to bring our heels back towards our hips. Once again, come into this bridge. Let's stay here for 3 long breaths. Really lift those hips up. Engage the glutes, relax the shoulders, relax the face. Even give me a smile if you can. Feel your lower back relax. Can you relax your shoulders and your back? It's just the hips, the glutes, and the hamstrings working here. Isolate the work to the legs, building up a little bit of heat. Doesn't have to be very high. You decide how high your bridge is, as long as you can relax your shoulders and your back completely. Grab the towel and now slide it down a few inches, a few centimeters lower, and so that you can, when you bring your hips down, it's on the sacrum, so it's below the belt line. So this is the sacrum, that triangular shaped bone on the top of the glutes. Bring your feet wide once again and windshield wiper. And now noticing the release of the lower back and this sweet massage on the glutes. Side to side. Some of us have very tight glutes, so go easy on yourself. Breathe into the belly, into the pelvic floor. Relax the entire body. Allowing yourself to just melt, relax and enjoy. If you have sensitive knees, maybe you want to go easy on this. A few more windshield wipers in both directions. coming into stillness, making sure that the blanket, the rolled up blanket, is really underneath the sacrum and not your lower back or not like the bottom of the glutes. All right, from here, we're going to lift the knees up, grab the knees with both hands, and slowly, gently pull the knees towards the armpits. Notice the release in the lower back. If you have lower back issues, go slow and only as far as still feels good. Keep breathing. Can you relax the shoulders and just engage the biceps? Maybe negotiating the space between the belly and the thighs. Those of us who have a belly, our beautiful bellies sometimes get in the way. So can we just widen the knees a little bit more so that we can pull in and feel the stretch in the thighs, the glutes, release the lower back. Can you relax the mouth, the tongue, the throat? Breathe. Really isolating the work to the biceps. Breathe into the belly, breathe into the pelvic floor. Letting go, surrender. All right, beautiful. This time we're going to bring both hands onto the left knee and we're going to extend the right leg all the way towards the back of the mat as if you could touch the back wall with your toes. That's how engaged our leg should be. And then we let gravity pull it down slightly, so maybe touching the floor with the heel or not. But what's important here is to really extend actively that leg out, as if you could pull it out of the hips joint. With our biceps, we keep pulling the left knee towards the shoulder. Back of the neck is long and spacious. So we have two things going on here. We've got the left leg stretching the hamstring, the glute, and the hip. And the right leg, we're stretching the hip flexor and the psoas muscle. The psoas muscle that runs from the inner thigh through the hips and into the back. When it gets tight, it can press onto the adrenal glands that are just above the kidneys. The adrenal glands create cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. So those of us with tight psoas muscles, we have a higher risk of overproducing cortisol, stress hormone. Few more breaths here. Keep pulling that knee towards your shoulder. Keep extending the right toes, activating the right leg, completely pulling, stretching away from you. Beautiful. Slowly bring the right knee in, give it a pull, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Bring both hands onto the right knee, extend left leg, point those left toes, activate the leg, stretching it out towards the back wall. Keep pulling in the right knee towards the right shoulder, right armpit. Notice the left hip flexor stretching. Maybe letting the left leg just come down a tiny bit so that we can go deeper into that hip flexor stretch. Keep pulling the right knee in towards you. Relax the jaw, relax the lips. Few more breaths here. This is so good for our hips, but this can be pretty intense for many of us. In yoga, we also believe that we retain a lot of undigested emotions in the hips. So this, for some people, can become very emotional. It can trigger strong emotions. So just be kind with yourself if you feel that happening to you. All right, start to bring the left knee and give it a pull towards you. Feel the lower back release. Awesome. Bring the feet back down. Lift the hips up just to remove the towel from underneath you. And then we're going to roll over onto the left side, or actually it doesn't really matter, the side of towards the screen. use your bottom bicep as a pillow, and then slowly use your top arm to push you up as you come onto a cross-legged position, just as a transition. Okay, let's grab one of the bolsters, and we're going to come into a wide-kneed hero's pose. Doesn't matter what the name is. The fact is that we want to sit on our heels just momentarily. I know a lot of us have tight knees and ankles. So just widen your knees, sit on your heels, bring a bolster or two just between the knees. So look at me at the screen. I'm really bringing the bolster in towards me. Maybe two. We will keep the second one around just in case. We're going to go into a restorative child's pose. So we're going to lengthen the spine, take a deep inhale. And then on the exhale, bring the hands on the floor and start walking them forward, bringing our bellies and then our ribs and then our chest and then one cheek onto the mat. Not the mat, the bolster. And rest your head here. If this is unavailable to you because this is still too intense, then we're going to use two bolsters and then place them in a way that still feels good for you. The idea here is that we can relax completely and surrender. So whether you're using one bolster or cushion or two, doesn't matter. Can you relax and rest your head, your neck, your shoulders? Everything is relaxing. Maybe even smiling, smile asana, if that's part of your practice. That was a yoga joke. All right, so let's all breathe into our hips. Let's all breathe into our inner thighs, trying to bring our hips a little bit closer to your heels. The goal, the idea is to go into this child's pose gently, kindly. Yeah, Valerie, try to widen your knees a little bit more and bring a second cushion underneath you. Make sure that you can rest your head onto something. Making sure your belly is also resting. If you need more padding under your knees, then bring the blanket under your knees. Make sure you're relaxing your shoulders. Make sure you're relaxing your belly onto something. Notice the subtle sensations in your body. As I was saying before, we have a lot of tightness in our inner hips, inner thighs. And it takes quite a few breaths for those hips to finally release and relax. We typically tense up the hips when we go into these wide-legged stretches. So can you breathe into your belly? Breathe into your pelvic floor, perineal body. Breathe into your lower back. Relax the shoulders, the elbows. Breathe into the side ribs. Breathe into the intercostal muscles between your ribs. Breathe into the space between the shoulder blades. Relax. If you notice your mind wandering away, just keep coming back to the breath. Keep coming back to the sensations on the skin, on your breath. Padding up, exactly, Eric. That's the right move. Pad up your knees if they get a little too sensitive so that you can bring your hips closer to your heels. That's it. This is part of restorative yoga. So for those of you who are doing restorative yoga for the first time today, this is it. It's about going into our stretches with a different philosophy. The idea that when we go slowly, kindly, more mindfully, our bodies allow us to go in. When we try these power yoga classes where you're just shifting from one asana to the next, our bodies often don't have enough time to go into them, and we can create injury. Muscle memory, those muscles will always clamp up when you try to go in. On the next inhale, lift the head up and bring the other cheek down. Resting the other cheek so that we get an equal stretch of the neck, of the cervical spine. Can you soften your lips, the roof of the mouth, the jaw? Breathing into your bellies, your pelvic floor to relax those hips. And if there's any strong emotions that arise, just breathe into them and allow them just to leave your system. Undigested emotions residing, especially in the hips and the backs of the legs. So I just gave away what we're going to be doing later. Back leg stretches. A few more breaths here. Really noticing the opening of the hips. How it takes sometimes more than 10 breaths to finally reach that point where you feel the hips are no longer resisting. On the next inhale, plant your hands under your shoulders and help yourselves come up slowly out of restorative child's pose. We're going to go into restorative Supta Badakonasana. This is a lot of Sanskrit, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to place both bolsters along the mat. So as you see, one bolster here, and then we're going to sit in between the bolsters, then bring the bolsters a little bit closer to you as we open up the knees. The bolsters are there to support you. I say bolsters, but maybe you're using cushions. Now we're going to bring the towel under, just at the other end of the mat as a bit of a pillow. Just a gentle pillow for the back of the head. And slowly use your hands and then your elbows to come down, and then allow your head to rest, your shoulders to rest on that blanket, on that towel. And some of you might notice that this is very intense, and if it's very intense, just bring the cushions in towards you so that your knees don't open up so much. And if this is really easy for you, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to spread the bolsters away from you, move them slowly until you find that you found that 70 to 80% intensity. Once you found that hip opener situation that works for you, decide if this is about right, 70-80% intensity, and just relax, palms facing up. Notice your breath. If you're holding your breath, maybe it's too intense. And you might decide somewhere along the road today that you might want to widen those bolsters away from each other, and so that you can come back into that 70 to 80%. Breathe into your lower belly. Breathe into your lower back. Relax the jaw. Feel the lengthening of the neck. The neck is long and spacious. The shoulders are broad. Shoulder blades are broad away from each other. The tongue is soft inside the mouth. Maybe part the lips. Maybe lift the edges of the lips towards the cheeks. And just breathe. Notice the opening of the hips, and once again, if it gets a little easy, you can always move the bolsters away from you to come back to that 70-80% intensity. In yoga, we have these scriptures, these teachings called the sutras. And the Yoga Sutras are there as a guide. They're not rules of do's or don't do's. They're just guides. That's why yoga philosophy is so well accepted across the world, cultures and religions, because these are just guidelines. And basically, there's only one Yoga Sutra that talks about asana. Asana is the poses. You are doing an asana right now. Out of the hundreds of teachings, the only one that says something about how to practice asana says, Sthiram Sukham Asanam. Asana is about finding the balance between effort and ease. This is kind of general and broad, but still so powerful and profound. And it not only applies to our practice on the mat, but it also applies on the practice off the mat, our daily lives. Finding ease in what we do, because often we muscle through things. So wherever you are, find ease in your hip opener right now, but still find the balance with the effort. If this got a little too easy, maybe widen those bolsters. If it's too difficult and you're in pain or you're not breathing, then bring those bolsters in. So, coming back to this Yoga Sutra about ease and effort, it's really useful. I use it in my daily life, and I keep asking myself, have I gone beyond my 80%? Am I all of a sudden so hyper-focused on this that I've lost connection with everything else because there's no more ease? Eventually, I'm going to burn out and not enjoy it anymore. Just breathing into your bellies, lower back and pelvic floor. And slowly, we're going to transition into the next asana, which is a supine twist. So let me see if I managed to explain this so that you don't have to get up and look at the screen. So from here, we're going to grab one bolster with your hands and place it between your legs. And then we're going to close our knees like a book and Actually, I made a mistake. Release that bolster. So it's only the leg that comes up. We're going to let's all straighten the right leg. And we're going to bring the left knee over and around to the other side and bring the inside of the thigh to rest on the bolster while still keeping our shoulders on the floor. So this is where the second bolster comes in. If you're not able to keep your shoulders on the floor and keep the left knee on the bolster, the left knee is bent 90 degrees, then you grab the second bolster, place it on top of the first one, and then bring the knee on top of it, and then bring the shoulders back down. Let me take a look at the screen to make sure that I explain things right. So the idea is that we keep both arms in a T-shaped position with our shoulders on the floor. And your left knee is sitting comfortably, so you have more or less a 90-degree between your chest, your side of the body, and the thigh. So I think Verona, can you bring your knee up a little bit more closer towards, there you go, that's it. And Eric as well, maybe bring your knee up a little tiny bit. There you go, and rest it down. If this is too intense for your hips, you can always come out of it. You can place more bolsters on top. You decide what works for you today. We all have different bodies. All right, Paul, so I see you decided to come out of it. You know, this is a spinal twist. It's intense for many of us, so you decide what's good for you today. That's the beauty of yoga. So this is a restorative version of supine twist. If this feels a little too easy in that balance between effort and ease, and you want to remove the bolsters altogether away or from underneath, remove them. Just make sure that your shoulders are firmly grounded. Make sure that your neck is long and spacious. Our practice is different every day. Some days it just feels so good to use props. Other days we feel like we want to go a little deeper. And that's about, that's applicable to everything in life. We have choices. So as we said before, keep studying your body. Keep feeling the stretch. Are you feeling the stretch 70 to 80%? If it gets a little too easy, maybe you want to push the bolster away from you a little bit, or remove it altogether, or bring a smaller bolster. Spinal twists are so good for detoxifying. They help our digestive system because we're basically wringing the intestines, helping us remove waste from our intestines. Also so good to calm the nervous system, the vagus nerve that I was telling you about. As we stretch the spine around its axis, we're also stimulating the vagus nerve, which in turn helps us to calm the parasympathetic nervous system. One more breath here. And slowly start to come out of it, but bringing that bent knee back up on the floor, straighten the leg, and now we're going to replicate the same thing on the other side. So grab one or two bolsters, place them on the left side, and then bring your right knee on top, finding that twist. Maybe you need to modify your hips a little bit so that you can still find that straight line. So here you want to have straight left leg, bent right knee. So Verona, can you straighten your left leg all the way back to the back of the room and just bend the right knee? Bend the right knee and bring the right knee over the cushion. That's it. Bringing the right knee over the cushion. Feel the twist in the waist, the hip, the IT band. Lengthening the neck, resting both shoulders on the floor. If the bolster doesn't allow you to come to 70-80% because you have so much flexibility, maybe you can remove the bolster altogether. And if you want to take it a notch further, you can grab the toes yogi toe lock. But that's for pretty advanced practitioners, so that's up to you. Your body. You are your own teacher. I'm only here to guide you. Few more breaths here. Feeling the stretch in the spine. We're not symmetrical, so maybe this side feels somewhat different to the other side. All right, slowly. We're going to come back onto a cross-legged position. So just bring your right arm around onto the floor, onto the left, and then use your top arm to push yourself back up. We're going to continue in restorative mode. This time, we're going to be doing back leg stretch. So we're going to come into a wide straddle. So that means we're going to extend the legs towards the sides. And for some of us, or many of us, it's going to be more comfortable to place a blanket underneath our seat, once or twice folded. Up to you. If, it's already very intense just by extending your legs, then maybe you want to bring that blanket underneath you. So let's just come into that wide-legged straddle. All right, and here, this is where we bring one bolster, two bolsters, three bolsters, up to you, and push it forward a little bit. And we want to bring our arms over the bolsters and then our forehead. So if 3 bolsters feels like nothing, you bring it down to 2, you give it a go, you bring it a go, and you try up to 1, and you decide when you find that height, that support that brings you back to 70%. If you're very bendy, for the time being, just use one bolster and bring your forehead onto the edge of the bolster, or at the, cross-armed. You find whatever way so that you can start to breathe into the backs of your legs. Now we're all going to flex our ankles. If you have a bad knee, for example, Chris, if you want to bring a rolled up blanket underneath that bent knee, that's also a prop that you can use. Some of my students, they either have something going on with their knees, so they place something underneath the bad knee in support and then stretch the other leg. So here, we really want to rest our forehead on something. So whether it's 1, 2, 3, 5 bolsters, whatever it is, find that. Eddie, trying to find something so you can rest your forehead on top of it. Go find the backrest of your sofas, maybe. You can use blocks. But just make sure that you are finding that 70 to 80% and you're flexing your ankles, you're flexing the toes towards your face, and trying to lengthen the lower ribs towards the floor. It's not so much about bringing the face, it's about bringing the lower ribs towards the floor. That's where you're going to get a deeper opening of the hips. That's it, Dan. Grab a few more cushions like that and bring something so that you can find something to rest your forehead on. We can get creative. That's it. Perfect idea. Using that extra block. I love it. All of you have different setups and they all work. I love it. Jerry's getting creative. Awesome. So here, especially here, the backs of the legs, as you can tell, most of us have tight backs of the legs. Again, in yoga, we believe that the backs of the legs retain a lot of undigested emotions. So it's always good to take, take our time in these stretches so that we don't go too fast and our bodies don't resist. Few more breaths here. Maybe noticing that with every exhale, you're able to let go a little bit more. You're able to sink in a little bit deeper. Can we find that balance between effort and ease? Can you keep breathing into the back of the leg? You might feel that one leg is tighter than the other. Just be kind to yourself. Relax the shoulders, relax the elbows, relax the jaws. Flexing your ankles and flexing your toes will intensify that because we also want to stretch the Achilles and the calves. As you can tell, I like anatomy a lot. That's because of my gymnastics background. So keep breathing, maybe releasing something new with every exhale. Try to make this effortless. This is why it's restorative, and we use a bunch of bolsters. Beautiful form, Olivia. One more breath here. And slowly use your arms to push yourselves back up. And you can remove the bolsters from between your legs. We're going to come into Yoga Nidra. So this is the meditation, the guided meditative part of the practice. And we're going to do this Yoga Nidra in a gentle inversion. So it's a bit of a supported bridge. So this is how it goes. We bring 2 cushions or bolsters at the end of the mat. One on top of the other. Then we're going to bring 1 bolster towards the middle of the mat. So 2 bolsters, 1 bolster. Then keep your blanket close by. And if you have a second blanket or throw or towel, you can place that under, like for your head, just like at the other end of the mat. So ideally, we're going to have a blanket folded up, 1 bolster here, 2 bolsters here, and this blanket to cover up. Because it's always nice to cover up. So how do we get into this? We sit in the middle bolster. And then we slowly bring our legs on top of the pile of bolsters, pile of cushions. So look at the screen if you don't know what I'm talking about. So sitting on the lower bolster, the calves are on the high bolster, and slowly bring your hands back and start to bring yourself down. Then the elbows come down slowly, gently, and then bring our head, our shoulders onto the ground. The head is supported by this blanket. And here, what we want to make sure is that the middle bolster underneath our hips, it's supporting the glutes and the sacrum, but the lower back is free. So if you need to lift your hips up and scoot the cushion or bolster a little bit, then do so you can find the release in the lower back. There's nothing under lower back, so the bolster is just on the glutes, not pressing on the lower back. This is going to create a delicious release in the lower back. Now grab your blanket. You can unfold it if it was folded and just cover yourself up as if you were going to bed. This should feel really yummy. If this inversion is not feeling good for you, of course, you can remove 1, 2, or all 3 bolsters. So wiggle your shoulders away from each other, wiggle your shoulder blades away from each other, palms facing up. Widen your legs a little bit more. Just find that Shavasana-like posture that helps you to relax and release completely. So maybe lengthen the neck, maybe move the neck side to side. Just find that posture, that pose, that situation that feels 100% comfortable for you. Let me check up on you guys. Let me see how everybody's looking. So Jerry looks good. Stephanie, I'm guessing you look good. Everybody looks good. Yes, Chi. There you go, Olivia. So Olivia, make sure that there's nothing under your back. It's under your hips, under the legs, but nothing under your back. That's it. Cover up. Close your eyes. All right, so this is the beginning of the Yoga Nidra practice. So as I said, Yoga Nidra is about going a little bit deeper into our bodies, physical and energetic bodies. So, Verona, maybe you want to cover up with a blanket if it gets a little chilly where you are. Start breathing again like we just did. Breathing into our bellies. You're probably noticing that your breath has become so much slower. That's because of the mere nature of the inversion. When we do inversions, restorative inversions, the diaphragm on the exhale is able to relax and shift further towards the chest, allowing the parasympathetic nervous system to relax. So you probably notice now that your exhales are longer. Even you're holding your exhales for longer. That's the real secret behind these inversions. I recommend you do these inversions every time you feel stressed out, anxious, feeling that your legs are higher than your hips are higher than your heart, and your lower back is free so that you can release it. I'm going to start calling some body parts. You do not have to move the body parts. Just bring your awareness into the body parts. Relax them as I call them out. Bring your awareness into the sensations. Bring your awareness into the crown of the head. Now the forehead. What does your forehead feel like? Now, with the power of your imagination, you're going to imagine a stream of warm golden oil falling on your forehead, relaxing the entire forehead. Golden warm oil, healing oil, energizing oil, spreading through your forehead onto the scalp. Warm, golden, healing oil. Now spreading that oil through the sides of the head, the back of the head, the back of the neck. Now continue feeling that oil that's falling on the forehead, now spreading through the cheeks, the eyes, the jaw, the lips, the front of the neck. The entire head is now covered in this golden, warm, healing oil, nourishing oil. Now we're we're going to spread that oil onto the collarbones, the top of the shoulders, spreading that oil, golden warm oil, over the right shoulder, right upper arm, right elbow, right forearm, right wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, and fifth finger. The entire right arm is covered in golden warm healing oil. Now moving the oil towards the left shoulder, top of the shoulder, top of the left arm, bicep and tricep. Spreading that oil over the elbow, the forearm, left wrist. Now extending that oil over the left palm, back of the hand, the thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger. The entire left arm is covered with golden, luminous healing oil. Feel the warm sensation of the oil over both arms. Now we're going to spread that warm oil over the chest, rib cage, lower ribs, abdomen and navel, pelvis. Slowly spreading the oil from the back of the neck to the top of the shoulders, the back of the shoulders, the shoulder blades, the space between the shoulder blades, the middle of the back, the lower back, lumbar spine, the hips and the glutes. Spreading this warm golden oil around the right thigh, right knee, right calf, right shin, right ankle, right heel, right sole of the foot, right top of the foot, the big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. The entire right leg is now covered in healing golden luminous oil. Now drawing, spreading that oil over the left glute, left thigh, left waist, left thigh, left knee, left calf, left shin. Spreading the oil over the left ankle, the left heel, left sole of the foot, left top of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Your entire left leg is relaxed and covered in golden, healing, luminous oil. Your entire body now, from the outside, we're going to bring in that healing luminosity and warm feeling to the inside. So bring your awareness to your navel, belly button, energy center. Notice your navel rising, falling, as we allow that healing light and luminosity to enter our body through the navel. And we start to create a sphere of light, healing light inside our abdomen. With every inhale, we're able to expand that sphere, that ball of light through your abdomen, intestines, reproductive system, liver, kidneys, pancreas, all of those organs in the mid-body. Now we're going to increase with the inhale that sphere of healing light, larger, now covering, extending towards your knees and towards your shoulders. With every inhale, you're able to expand that healing light, that healing energy into the chest, the lungs, digestive system, the ribs, the pectoral muscles, back muscles. Extending that sphere of light throughout the entire body. You are swimming inside this ball of golden luminous light. You're floating inside this beautiful energy, healing energy that is now impregnating every cell of your body. Notice those healing sparkles of light entering every organ, every pore, every cell of your body. Now you're going to expand this sphere of light larger than your body, larger than your room. Can it cover your entire house? Sending positive energy, loving, healing energy to everything in your house. Extending that energy to the entire building where you are, the city or the town where you are. You are the epicenter of loving, kind, healing energy, spreading it with all your neighbors. Visualize this sphere of golden light becoming even larger, now covering your entire country. Connecting with other spheres of energy, contributing to a sum of collective energy. Now expanding your gleaming, beautiful light to the entire planet. You're feeding your energy, golden light, across the planet. Bring your hands on top of your chest, one palm on top of the other. And now you're going to seal this energy inside of your heart. Relax the shoulders. Sealing this energy inside of you so that you have abundance of energy, healing, loving energy towards yourself. Loving kindness starts with the self, starts with us, so that we can be loving, kind to others. A few more breaths here, feeling how you can seal this energy into yourself, to your heart. knowing that you can always come back to this feeling, this sensation of peace, inner peace, just by coming into this inversion. Bring your hands into your chest and just breathe. Let's take one last breath together as a class, as a group, as a collective. Let's open our mouths and sigh it out. Releasing anything that doesn't serve, any blockages, any hurdles in our lives. One more time. Inhale together. Deep inhale. Open your mouth and sigh it out. Last time. By yourselves. Make it the deepest of inhales. And release, relax. Slowly bend your knees, plant your feet on the space between the bolsters on the floor. You can just lift your hips up into a bridge for a moment, remove the bolster from underneath you, bring your hips back down. Just windshield wipe side to side a few times to reawaken your spine. Still slowly bringing in that luminous healing energy with you in this transition. Transitions are equally important in yoga. So as you bring more prana into your spine, your body, set the intention to bring this calm sensation, this inner peace that you've gathered throughout today's session, to bring it with you so you can share it with your loved ones. And whenever you're ready, you roll up over onto a side, push yourselves back up. Let's meet in a cross-legged position. You might want to cover up with a blanket, because it just feels good after that moment. If you want to cover up, it just feels nice to feel that protection of whatever you can have around. Let's bring our hands into heart center, lifting the spine, anchoring down the hips. Bring chin to chest. Feel the stretch in the back of the neck. Just notice the shifts that have happened in the last hour and a half. The sense of calmness and the stress, the tension that you've been able to release. Be thankful for your bodies, for everything they do. Be thankful and gratitude for the energy that brought you to class today. In yoga, we call it Atman. It refers to our higher self, that energy that keeps you on your path, motivated, self-care, self-betterment, self-awareness, loving kindness. That energy is there since the day you were born. And when we're able to relax the mind, relax the ego, we're able to tap into it. Pure consciousness. Slowly open your eyes, lift the gaze up. Let's say namaste to everybody in the class today. I say namaste to you. So Casey, Ian, Carl, Olivia, Dan and girlfriend, Eric, Valerie, Bob, Eddie, Z, Verona, Paul, Chris, Stephen, Stephanie, and Jerry. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that today's session served you well. This combination of yin, restorative, and yoga nidra. So healing, so powerful. So I'm here if you have any questions, if you want more information about myself. I think you all know my website, David Ito Healing. I'm open to hear your questions if you have any, your comments. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to me through email, through text, whichever way. I'd love to stay in touch with you or even see you in my classes. Monday stretching, Wednesday conditioning. Namaste to you all. Thank you so much for joining me. Blessings. Please stay safe. Above all, stay safe. Thank you for joining me.